live.
Call this meeting to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. The roll call. Don? Here. Justin? Here. Nancy?
Here.
AJ? Here. Owens? Here. So we have full attendance. I would accept a motion for approval of today's agenda.
I'll move to approve today's agenda.
Justin?
Okay.
I'll second. Don seconded.
Okay.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Next we move on to Tourism Director Report.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I have one housekeeping question before I get involved or get started. Do we send our broadcast to Rocky, and is that where we get our minutes? Where are we generating meeting minutes right now?
Send them to you and
You've been putting them out, right?
No, I forwarded them to y'all.
Okay.
Yeah.
But who's writing the note? Who's taking our notes? Is that coming?
Nancy creates the minutes.
Okay, Nancy's doing the minutes, all right. There was some confusion on whether it was going to the clerk, so I just want to clarify. Okay,
so is that the way we
that's
do it
great.
then?
However the committee wants to
'Cause I
function.
just send them to you.
Yeah, I think in the, like in the village council meetings, the clerk creates the minutes. But since the clerk is not normally present in our meetings, Nancy's been doing them, and then we send them to y'all for approval, and I normally ask for feedback.
Loop, when we send them out from now on, let's loop Rocky in that communication, because he will be the one that gets them posted for us.
Okay.
So that'll be our last step.
Yeah.
Okay, diving into it. First thing I wanted to show you, I've got some proofs of our new winter visitors guide. As you know, we've gone back with Taos News to do this again this year. We had wanted to do it on our own. We think we could do a lot better guide with our own creative, on our own agency, and our own people. We didn't have the time. If I wanted something out, as you guys know, we approved to go back to Taos News. I've got some proofs of these things. I can pass around to you guys. You'll see there's some different color or some cover applications here. Rainbow type, white type, and then the circle type. My preference is the white type because it pops off the colored background the most. But I think there's parts of this I like the layout on too. So I just wanted to throw these out there, let you guys thumb through them, see what we're up to at your leisure. You don't worry about proofreading them. We've got other people on that, but I just wanted to let you see what's coming before we hit the stand. Next thing, visitor center update. Our visitor center is now open 7 days a week. We open at 7:30 in the morning, just like Village Hall does now. Village Hall, a lot of the accounting people have gone to 410s, so they will be going 7:30 to 5:30 here at Village Hall. We'll open the visitor center over there at 7:30 on all weekdays, and then I think Trinity's in there by 8 on weekends. But so we're getting consistent hours. We aren't getting a lot of traffic, obviously, at this point in time, but even on what was our last holiday? The holiday we had a couple weeks ago.
Indigenous Day.
Yeah, Indigenous Person Day. We had 3 people to the visitor center on that day. You know, the city hall was closed. We were gonna close. I asked to keep the visitor center open. That's the direction the mayor has given us, to keep that thing open and greet visitors. So we had 3 visitors on that day. So, you know, for those 3 people, it was worth us being there.
Are your hours 7:30 to 5:30?
7:30 to 5, basically.
Okay.
Village halls were open to 5:30,
Okay.
but a lot of times one of us is in there till 5:30, so we're there.
Have y'all thought about putting like a big temporary sign saying visitor center, new location?
There's small signs that we put up last week on the highway, on the Frontier Plaza sign. We're working to get a new big sign design. I had a banner up out front. We're gonna try to get the banner back up on the metal poles. It was a little more challenging than the wood poles. But yeah, we're getting signage done pretty quick. So, yeah, but we need to increase the visibility
Cause
there.
it still looks like you're under construction.
Yeah.
you know.
Oh, especially with the tractors and everything out front, and that's the big problem, the dumpster truck and everything. We've asked them to move it over and park not directly in front of us, so they have. And that building's getting closer to being finished, so hopefully by the time tourists start rolling into town, we're rolling full blast. I invite you all to come by there. We've got most everything set up, we're waiting on a couple of bulletin boards, a couple other things, but come say hi. I know we're there. And
Get ski maps for the winter.
there you go.
Oh, yeah.
We will. We have a ton of trail maps.
Yeah, I know, I went and grabbed some yesterday.
Next thing, air service update. In your packet is a schedule of the flights that are coming in on Advanced Air. You'll see, I think it's a total of 62 flights. It may be a 9-passenger plane, but they aren't sure what their load factor is gonna be yet. So they're gonna start off with 6 passengers. So if you look at 6 passengers, 62 flights, that's a total of 372 people that airline could potentially move this winter.
And this is a done deal, like 100%.
That's the schedule, yeah.
Okay.
That's amazing.
That's the schedule. I was hoping to try to get flights out of here earlier in the mornings, so you could make all the connections into Texas and other places, and try to get flights later in the afternoons out of Albuquerque, so we could gather up all the people that had flown into Albuquerque and fly them up here. It didn't work out that way. You'll see that they're mostly midday, but I went in this morning and I opened up their travel window, booking their flights, and I went to American, and I looked at connecting flights out of Texas, and you can still meet 3 flights out of Dallas in the afternoon, if you take that. And there's 3 flights out of Dallas in the morning that'll get you here to get on that flight up here. So there are still connection options, there's still a lot of them. My biggest concern is if we can't connect to our Texas travelers, we're only talking about people from Albuquerque, and we're gonna have a challenge.
What are we gonna do about car rental? Cause if they fly up here, what do you do?
The resort will be providing shuttles for their guests. Brett Weir has been, well, he's been talking to Enterprise. Unfortunately, they haven't been talking back all that great. Enterprise barely keeps their Taos operation open. So personally, I don't know how much faith I have in them doing something. We're working on some other car rental options, Turo and some other online things, ride sharing things along those lines.
Specified dollar amount?
One of the things that I noticed on Taos Air's economic survey and their information about the people that flew to Angel Fire, most of the flyers that were coming out of Taos Air, that were flying into Taos and then coming up here, were members and locals. Because their average overnight stay was about 10, 11 days. That's not a tourist. Tourist is 3 days. So it was a lot of locals using the airlines and a lot of the members using the airlines. So hopefully they'll still fill the seats, and those are the people, a lot of which have cars here. And you notice at the airport, a lot of the guys have their own planes. They leave a car out there a lot too. So it's gonna be something we have to work through and figure out. And I wish I could say, oh, Avis is gonna be there at the airport with cars waiting for you. But, you know, not yet.
There's
Yes,
an
sir.
opportunity maybe for somebody here
Carlos?
locally who Carlos has done it before.
Yes, we've
you
been in
know,
touch with
to
Carlos,
have
our Uber guy.
a little, Uber type service.
Yep, and he's got
There's
3
a couple
drivers
that have
now.
done it.
Yeah. So we're trying to find, because you need a car up here. Even if you're staying at the lodge, it's nice to have
I was
wheels.
gonna say, that takes me out of the picture if I'm
Right.
up on the mountain, so.
Right,
I need a little more than a two-wheel drive car.
Oh, yeah, oh, yeah.
Details.
I mean, there are rental programs where, like, individuals could.
Yeah, that's Turo, that's, yeah.
That might be like an opportunity for somebody to, get a four-wheel drive and put it up there for rental.
They do have some small limitations. Vehicle can't be older than 12 years old and has to have under 130,000 miles.
Well,
Yeah.
we should
Look
talk to
into it.
Scott at the airport and see if we can find out if any of those pilots that leave their cars there would be interested in putting those vehicles in this type of program.
Yeah, I mean,
They're
Turo
sitting there,
has
they
their
may
own
be able to come in
insurance,
on-
they have
We'll
lots
talk
of
to
options.
Scott at the airport, see if we can work another angle.
So could you actually go on to some website and book these flights right now?
Advanced Air.
Advanced there.
You know, Glenn Tillery would be somebody to talk to. He owns car dealership and he leaves a vehicle up here and flies his own plane. So he might have some insight on that as well. I mean, I can reach out to Glenn.
Yeah.
So he has some old vans on the lot. I know he did before.
Yeah, I mean, he may have some ideas.
All right, next up is New Mexico True Co-op Program. As you know, we applied and received, I think, $170,000 in support. We put up $50,000 and they put in $175 to do some programs. One was Google Keywords, where you would, New Mexico's family friendly, and these things and other things. As I work through the state with these products in their keyword thing, their regulations are a little tight. To get New Mexico's family friendly, I have to put the word Angel Fire in front of it. What's the point? I won't be doing this program next year, and I've already told them I will compete with them head to head for keywords. So that program doesn't make sense. So New Mexico, their guidelines for the grants are very restrictive. Everything has to have the New Mexico True branding in it. And a lot of communities have gone away from it once they've established their own identity and they can climb out from under that New Mexico True shell. In a lot of ways, there's things that I believe that they do great for us, like the New Mexico Magazine co-op that we have coming up. In New Mexico Magazine, we have a 16-page insert. It's in the January-February issue. The monthly audience for New Mexico Magazine is 472,000 people. That magazine goes out to about 100,000 people in print. We will get 15,000 copies of that insert, so we'll have a nice bound color little Angel Fire guide that's done by New Mexico Magazine with the New Mexico True branding on it. So we'll have those for our own distribution. The writer for that, Kelly Kopecki, is coming up Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday to do the story. Just found out, informed her that Sunday's the last day for activities in this valley. So she's gonna get up here with her husband. I think they're gonna do chairlift stuff, maybe a pickleball lesson. She's staying in town 3 days at the Treehouse. She wanted a unique place to stay, and Nancy was open. It lined up perfectly. She's so excited to stay with Nancy. It's great. She wants to talk to Nancy as part of the story. She's gonna interview the best of the best ski instructors. The resort had 2 ski instructors win New Mexico Best of the Best instructor awards last year. Sebastian Kudara and Elkie May both won those awards. So she'll be talking to them. She's also gonna be talking to Nancy Birch while she's here. You two Nancy B's
I know.
just mess me up.
Yeah, people all the time ask me how my horses are, and I'm just like, "They're fine, they're
Oh,
fine."
I send the emails to the wrong ones all the time too. It's like, oh, this is wrong Nancy, sorry. So it's a good opportunity for some great exposure. I think this part of the co-op program is phenomenal. The other thing we have with them is a Texas Monthly ad that will get running here soon. So some of the New Mexico co-op things really make our dollars go a lot further. And on this one, I'm excited about to see what that story comes out looking like in that insert.
Okay.
So we'll have a nice.
So
new print
Greg, if
piece.
you're saying that you're not going to be using New Mexico True next year,
For their keyword things.
just for the keyword?
Yeah,
Search
okay.
engine.
To
Search
put,
engine.
to put the word angel fire in front of a search term, they're gonna come to me anyway. If someone's already got angel fire in their head, and I have to use the word angel fire in it, it doesn't help me. I wanna go after people that are looking, punching in Google, New Mexico's most family-friendly ski area. That's what I want. So we need to you want, in search terms, you wanna be a little broader and drive a little bigger audience and not be so specific as to have to put your own name in it. And the people at the co-op are like, yeah, Greg, you're right, it doesn't really make sense. It's like, yeah, oh well. We learn. Last thing I have, I went to the Northern New Mexico Economic Summit for a couple days in Raton. It was an interesting gathering of people. It was Southern Colorado people, some Trinidad people, and then Northern New Mexico. Talking about building some synergy and getting some things turned in the Northern New Mexico area. I did meet some great contacts there. Carl Colonis is with Outdoor Colorado. I've known Carl for a while, but we got to spend some time with him. He's big on the trail programs. He administers all the grant stuff for New Mexico Outdoor. I'm inviting him up to go to a Trails Committee meeting.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm trying to get some of these people I meet at these conferences to come up here and get the community as excited as they get me at the conference. So I've also got Nav, a new person in her role. She's with the New Mexico Land and Water Conservation Grants Program. They have money to help us on things too. She's all excited about diving into Angel Fire and finding out what we can do. Do we want a park? What do we want to do? So there's opportunities out there. I've been getting the information to Rocky and other people, Julie and other people, and village staff. But I also want to invite these people up to some of our meetings, to some of the specific meetings like Trails, Parks and Rec, those groups, and get these projects going. Really get them rolling. We did, I think since our last meeting, we did meet with the landscape architect, Ken Ronning, out of Albuquerque. His firm was the firm that did these plans for Liberty Square 20 years ago, whenever it was. So he's got a lot of background stuff on this. We're sending him information for the landscape work on Tank 7 for our temporary event facility back here that you have information on, and for our permanent stuff that we want to get going. So we're getting some professional advice and trying to keep things moving. As far as my report goes, I'm done. Anything from me before we dive in further?
Well, the balloon fiesta, how'd that go? Good?
Brandon,
Great, yeah, good time,
meet some people, see some stuff?
definitely.
Yeah, it's good for him to see a major event. We're meeting with Fraser hopefully this week about the fixed wing event and get that expanded out for balloons to make that a bigger event. Back to you, Mr. Chair.
All right. Next, we'll move on to old business. The first one is event schedule discussion.
You guys have seen our event schedules that we've put together. The previous one that Brandon put out before the last meeting that has a whole year's worth of events. There's a copy of an ad that we're running in our visitor's guide and the Taos visitor's guide promoting our winter events. I feel that for our visitors guide, a lot of people that pick that up are already here. Same thing on the Taos visitor's guide. So you want to inform them about things that are happening in the area as much as you do about the destination when they're away. So I think the QR code will get a good response there, drive some traffic to our events.
You know, one of the things too, like the Mardi Gras celebration,
start hitting up, like maybe the month before or something, the businesses to see if they can enter floats, or, I mean, not.
Oh,
floats,
Trini's on
but
it.
She's on it.
Trini's on it.
Yeah,
Trini can't wait.
cause a lot of times people are like last minute, oh crap, you know.
No, no, Trini, yeah, we
No
got
last
Trini
minute
power
stuff.
now.
Yeah,
I don't like that.
Yeah, Brandon and Trini are teaming up pretty strong on
little
event
competition.
sponsorships, other things. One of the things that'll be announced in the next issue of the Village Voice, the newsletter goes in the water bill. We are having a holiday lighting decoration competition in this town. Alpine Lumber, our sponsor right there, has donated two $250 gift cards. One will go to the best business, decorated business. One will go to the best resident decorated business. We'll start promoting that, getting people involved, and we want this town to be more of a winter wonderland and more welcoming.
I've won that event.
You want
Is
that
that good
event?
or bad? I mean.
It's good.
We have contracted with a company out of Amarillo, Lubbock Lighting, I think is their name. And they've done, Plaza del Cerro before, they've done Elkhorn before. We have contracted them to do Village Hall, Frontier Plaza, North Angel Fire Road, the median, and all 38 light stands. We're gonna light this place up.
It's gonna say dark skies.
It'll go off by 10. So we won't interfere with anything overnight or habitat, but we're gonna make it nice and welcoming for our winter visitors this year. Brandon's got some good events on the plan, so we're really gonna try to turn that
Business
around.
scavenger hunt too that we're putting together.
What?
The business scavenger hunt over Black Friday weekend.
Fill them in.
So a scavenger hunt, we're gonna get with all the businesses, we'll be doing that probably in the next week, seeing who all wants to be involved. We're just gonna give, anybody in the community that weekend gets a flyer, and on the back will have the list and a place for stamps. And they just go out, collect stamps from all the businesses. We're gonna ask all the businesses to have some kind of special going on. That way, bring in maybe some sales. And they'll bring that back, and then we'll have a couple of good prizes. We haven't confirmed those prizes yet, so I'm not gonna say what they are, but, that's what we're working on. So
When is that again, Brandon?
It'll be the 29th, 30th, 31st,
Okay.
after Thanksgiving. We'll announce the winner that Monday sometime.
The lighting event
Rest of
is the
weekend,
Friday.
I'll be open on Friday,
Okay?
the golf shop, we'll have a big sale on Thursday
You will be
and
open
Friday.
on the 20th.
Friday, yep.
Okay, so I'm gonna put you on the list then.
Yep, put me on the list.
Okay.
We're trying to bring everybody into it. When we drive tourism up here for the lighting event, the Christmas tree lighting event, we wanna make it last the weekend. And how can we drive some traffic to our local retailers? How can we help them out a little bit? Cause it's not about online shopping for our local retailers. So we're just trying.
And we'll have 2 big prizes and a bunch of little prizes, so a lot of people will win stuff. So hopefully it'll give people reason to get out there and at least go around and talk to people.
All right, we'll move on to old business, item number 2, which is winter visitors guide discussion.
Sorry, I covered it sort of in the tourism director report. You see it?
Looking around this,
Yeah, just poke through it, see if anything's glaring out. You see the human interest stories, there's one on Hawk, ski patrol director, there's one on Mike Hawkins and his stargazing stuff, and then there's our Angel Fire's our favorite wrangler, Nancy Birch, so,
Then we'll move on to item number 3, Caristo Creative as agency of record discussion.
The contract, just to fill you guys in, the contract has been written. Our village legal wrote a contract, it went to Caristo. Caristo came back with some changes on it yesterday, it's back to our attorney. We're hoping to get it all wrapped up, so, because the council's already approved them as the agency of record, so now they just have to approve the signing of the contract. So that's where that's at, just wanted to keep you posted.
Okay. We'll move on to new business. Number 1, event facility plan discussion.
Okay. One of our challenges is if we are going to do bigger events that are actually bringing in overnight visitors and generating lodgers tax dollars for us, we need a little bigger venue. We need to make some improvements on a gated venue where we can bring in bigger acts, where we can actually charge admission for concerts. Do more along the lines of things that you see at, Kit Carson Park in Taos. So we'd still have probably 3 weeks a month of the free concerts on a Friday night, but maybe that one Friday's gonna be a big act. Journey's coming up and it's gonna be $25 a head to get in.
Wow.
So,
Y'all heard it here.
No, you didn't.
so with that as a goal to obviously always build lodgers tax revenue and looking at a venue, we've got some opportunity right here. The village has land. Last summer, Oliver set up a skate park, or for 2 years now he set it up, right? A skate park on that flat land back there that is just a great parcel. You'll see in your packet, that's marked out on a Google Earth thing. That piece of land, without a lot of dirt work, can be brought up to speed, to host what we're planning on doing. And overall, our goal there is to have a gated facility with the metal barriers, the portal metal barriers that you see at all other, whether it's Oktoberfest or Red River or whatever, have those things, have those that we can use here, as long as we're here. If we need them at the airport for balloons, we can move them there. If we need them out on Fields, we can move them there. So everything we're thinking about in this temporary facility is temporary. Even the sod we wanna lay down can be peeled up and replanted somewhere else. So what we're looking at is a facility that would be gated, would have a stage at one end with a cover, a sod, 20,000 square foot lawn in the middle with irrigation, and then a big tent on the back end. I think the size of that tent's 40 by
120.
So it's a good capacity tent that could also be used independently for weddings and parties and other things that we could rent it out for. So it's something, the problem is I need this by Father's Day of next year. We need this by balloons over Angel Fire. We need it by our big grand opening. And our grand opening for summer has been Father's Day traditionally. Farmers markets, concerts, balloons over Angel Fire, everything kicks off then. Our goal is to try to get this done by then. We've met with landscape architects. We've got Kurt Epler on board to start the dirt work as soon as it thaws in the spring. But we're moving forward with this. You'll see the amounts of money that are there. There's sort of a range on things. As we get further into it, we'll have a better idea of the costs. We've got good support at the council level. Jeff, Bill, BJ, Brett, everybody is about this. They wanna see some progress and they wanna see us getting something done. Obviously, we want a nice full-time conference center, meeting rooms with a lawn and a stage and a nice permanent facility someday. But in reality, that's 3 years away. And I can't be limping along in Frontier Park for 3 years trying to build lodgers tax money. We need a facility, we need an event space to do something. We've got the land, there's sewer and water out there. We're working with Kit Carson on electric. So yes, Nancy.
So will you pretty much, I mean, not abandon Frontier, but everything, farmer's market, everything would be moved over
Yeah.
there?
Yeah, we've already talked to food trucks
Okay.
about moving in over there, new ones and one of the existing ones. They wanna be where the events are.
So
They
the
wanna
Friday
be,
night concerts move over there?
what?
The Friday night concerts?
Yes, Yeah, because right now Frontier, the rock thing in the middle of it has interrupted it, and then this year they planted sunflowers, big sun, so you can't even see the stage. John knows that we wanna move, and he's more than happy to have us out of his park. 'Cause that park realistically was designed to sell real estate. It's not that big, but it's nice.
And the fire department's moving.
Yeah, fire department will be right
How
here.
soon is that?
Well, it's already been approved, but I honestly don't have the answer to that, so. I think
Jason's
there's-
working on plans.
Yeah, there's a time, there's a clock on
Yeah.
that, in the next year or so.
Yeah.
I think we're planning to have that completely moved over, so that'll open that space up as well.
So, cause I looked up all of these websites and kind of made some notes, but we're not ready to, this is just discussion, so we're not ready to vote on anything.
No, we're
either.
shopping still, and we're just
Okay.
throwing ideas out.
One thing that came across to me is just make sure the stage is north and south instead of east and west for,
Sun.
sitting in the sun and that sort of thing. I was thinking about that. And then I just was looking at numbers that you have down here, so. How soon will you get a definite, ready for it to be voted on?
We'll start moving through. I'm hoping to have plans back from the architect by the end of the week, early next week. That'll trigger, is my first thing I've gotta find is someone that's gonna lay sod down for me. So we're gonna start pretty quick. It'll be.
Maybe as early as next meeting or the meeting?
Oh, yeah, next meeting, if I'm not updating you on this project every month, hit me with a stick, cause we gotta keep this moving.
Well, I think it's a good idea, just because of proof of concept that, if it starts, if it really works well and everything, then it'll build more support for a permanent facility.
Yes,
So,
it almost is a pilot program for us in some ways.
And I'll tell you, laying sod, when we did the putting green, we had about 5,500 square feet. We had 5 or 6 of us, but you just really need one person to kind of lead that project. And there's just some manual labor. I mean,
Yeah.
we had about 6 of us out there laying sod, and it took us 4 or 5 hours to get it out of the truck, and on the green laid out. So it's just a matter of having 1 or 2 people that can direct these people, to move in this sod, because it's heavy.
Oh, yeah.
But, it's not gonna, I mean, you could do it in a couple of days easily.
Yeah.
I'm
With
hearing
some
a
labor.
volunteer as well.
Yeah.
An experienced volunteer. And obviously then this is gonna facilitate the village needing to buy a lawnmower and add those things to the maintenance schedule. There's things that happen with this. And one of the other things, it's not quite a segue, but one of the other things that we put in that facility, in that gated area, if we can make it work, and I think we can, because we're designing our own thing from scratch, is put that skate facility in there. Have it all there. As you saw in Oliver's skate facility, I'm not segueing to you yet. But as you saw in there's some music things in there, some concert things in there. And if we had a gated facility, we can do something with that. We can make it work pretty well, so.
All right, well, we'll move on to new business item number 2, which is skate park proposal discussion.
Okay, for the last couple of years, we have had the fortune of having a skater in town with a passion to want to do something for this community. And he's done a great 3-day, 4-day event the last couple of years.
It's 2, but yeah.
4th of July weekends, had a good, strong showing. When we started talking about it this year, I said, Oliver, I'd like to see something that lasts longer, 6 to 8 weeks. I'd like it set up for at least the month of July and part of June, and make it another recreational facility for us. And he came out with a pretty solid proposal that's been sent to everybody. It involves, well, Oliver, come on up. Come on up. I know you don't like this part, but come on up.
First of all, thank you very much for the support for the previous skate event. It went great, and obviously wouldn't happen without you guys. We doubled the amount of people from the first year this year, which was fantastic. We had people from Colorado and all over New Mexico, Roswell, Albuquerque, a bunch of people from Texas. So thank you for that. It was fantastic. As Greg said, it would be amazing if we could do something longer and more stuff for local and visiting kids. You know, we've got a lot of the stuff already that we need to be able to do it. We need a bit more funding to make it a bit more of a impressive facility, I guess. Alpine helped us out with making a standalone ramp, so we had 2 things that everybody could use this year. Intend to make the ramp that we had bigger, and do another standalone thing. I've been talking with Tammy Dunn, principal of the high school, who's very excited. She actually wanted to be here today. She said to apologise. She's got a very busy day today, but she's really excited to involve the high school kids. So I put a sculpture project in there, which could be a really good thing, I think, for the local kids, and also a really interesting and very sort of publicisable, if that's a word, a publicisable thing, a marketable thing, to sort of make the event stand out. Trying to think what else you guys need to know. I did have a very exciting development. I've been looking into musical acts for next year, performance for next year, and I've got a couple of literally world famous acts that want to come. I'm very happy to tell you all privately who they are. I think I'd rather not announce them before we've confirmed stuff. But it was a really exciting development for me. It was quite, even though we did have a bit of a good lead up this last event, it was a little bit difficult to get performers on the timescale we had, but it worked out great. We got some brilliant performers and a really nice wide range of music for different people to enjoy. So the parents had something to enjoy, the kids had something to really enjoy, and it worked out really well. But this year I thought, well, why not think who would be the best performers we could possibly get? And I'll just, excuse me, I'll just start emailing people and see, and I'll just, you know, squeaky wheel gets the oil kind of thing. I'll just keep bothering people until somebody says yes. The very first 2 people that I asked, the people that I really wanted to come, that I thought there's no way they're going to come, already replied and said they would love to. So I stopped there. You know, before we. So anyway, so I think it could be a really, really good thing, especially with what Greg's talking about with the, you know, gated area and making it a really professional event. Word's definitely started to spread about what we're doing with more people coming, and I think it'll be. I wouldn't be at all surprised if we double again this year.
What were your numbers last year?
So we had about 80 people sign waivers, and then, you know, sometimes one of those people would have two family members, 3 family members.
Oh.
So I didn't actually count how many people were the, you know, spectators and stuff, but there was a lot, and it was really good. I think something else I wanted to tell you.
So with the bands and then Friday night bands all being in the same kind of area, how's that coordinate?
It would be fine. We'd have a load in and load out place on the back of the stage, so they could pull right in. But
So
it wouldn't be
it
that
wouldn't
hard.
be conflicting,
Waiting.
they would just be
No, I have it scheduled where it's all separate.
separate.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of the ideas he had, that he just had, he's constant. With those name band acts, do those concerts as a fundraiser for our skate park. Bring it all back together.
I think that could work really well. You know, I was sort of daydreaming about it and thinking, well, we could do a ticketed event with really these kind of size acts. We could do a ticketed event, but we could also do it just by donation. And I think by donation, people often end up giving more than they would give for a ticket, especially when we're very vocal about what it's for. You know?
Have like a booth or something?
Yeah.
And then it's a longer term, bigger facility, but it's stationary once you build it, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah, until he takes it down at the end of the run, it stays there. So we'd have to look at designing this to work with the stage, with the lawn, the tent, you know, and how you work it. But that space is plenty big to accommodate it all. That space on what we looked at, if you went in and did, for festivals, they say it's 6 square feet per person. For seated, thing, it's 10 square feet per person. We could put 6,000 people in that facility based on the square footage over there. We're obviously not gonna get 6,000 people here for anything this summer. Maybe next summer, but not quite this summer. So,
I know these names, these bands.
yeah, I know.
I mean, if you get a big enough name, I mean, they're putting 10,000 people in Taos now. I don't wanna I went to see Sting there, you know, and.
That was 5,000 people.
It was, yeah, but the Mumford & Son was the biggest, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's the biggest show they've had down there, according to what Tosh is telling me, is about 5,000 people.
I
Avett
heard
Brothers,
different-
Sting,
yeah, I
Mumford
heard
and
different
Sons.
numbers, but
The big
still.
one they do every summer is about 5, they said.
5 would be a good number.
That's
too.
still.
Yeah. 5
If we
is,
could potentially house that many people, you know, in the.
we bring in 5,000 people, we're gonna see occupancy of 40, 50% in every facility in town, just from
You
that.
need more than one exit.
Yeah.
5,000 people. You're gonna need several ways to get to the road.
It has been exciting for me with doing the event to see how quickly word has spread, kind of thing. And after the first event, I got a lot of people saying, "Oh, I didn't realise this was happening. You know, are you doing it again?" And exactly the same has happened
Need to
again this time.
advertise, yeah, we really
Um,
need to advertise ahead of time and.
And this also becomes, you know, if we see enough usage, if it's set up out there for a month or so, if we see enough usage, then we can say, look, we do need a skate park, we need a permanent facility, let's get this going.
Oh,
So,
and was it made out of the same
2 or 3 years ago. 'Cause we donated
materials
to
that you
I
have
think
like
Alex
here?
Kepler
Is that
was-
wooden?
It's metal and
It's
a
nothing.
material called skate
So
board,
after
which is
that money
basically like
after
it's almost like composite decking.
collected.
Okay,
And it's a big sheet
okay.
material
No
you can
idea.
bend onto a skate ramp.
So
So
even
this
if you
is
had
an
it as
ex-
permanent, would it
extension
still
of
be
that.
made out of
Yes,
that, or would
no.
you actually,
I don't know what
like a
Alex is.
swimming pool?
So if we did a
But I
permanent
remember he
park,
was
I would,
involved.
personally, what I would recommend is to do a lot of
Yeah,
concrete
cause he would,
because
cause
it's so resilient
we
to
got 5
elements and
grandsons
everything.
Uh-huh.
And also do something like this.
So you would
Yeah.
take this up in the
Cut a
winter
log
and
out of
just
the
put it
forest
down
and
in
build it up
the,
near
have
the
it in
rail.
the summer?
We could do
My
that, yeah.
driveway.
Very good. Does anybody else have any questions? That's great. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Looking forward to
Thanks.
hearing about
Thanks
this
for having me.
band. So.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
Hit me up after, I know one of them, never heard of
Okay,
the
now
other
that
one.
one.
First of all, never tell Greg.
Yeah.
Hey, nobody pays me to keep secrets. People pay me to spread the word.
That's the last item, that's the last item on our agenda, so I'm calling this meeting.
Oh, very good.
You could discontinue the video.
Can you turn us off, Brandon? We all